Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you are doing really well. So today we are continuing with our PySpark problem solving series. We are solving PySpark problems from the website StrataScratch.com. So without further ado, let's jump into today's problem. So today's problem is known as salaries differences. So let us see what the problem statement says. In the problem statement, we can see it is asking us to calculate the difference between the highest salaries in the marketing and engineering departments. We need to output just the absolute difference in salaries. We have been given two tables, which are a DB underscore employee and DB underscore department. Let's have a preview on the tables. So the DB underscore employee table has ID, first name, last name, salary, and department ID. Let's have a preview of the data. So we have employee ID, first name, last name, salary, and the department ID. So we do not have the department names over here. And if we look into the DB underscore department table, which is basically a DEPT, so we have ID and department columns. So let's have a preview. So we have ID and department, which is the department names. So to get the department names, it is pretty much evident that we need to join these two tables to figure out the department names. As you see here in the question, they are clearly asking us to calculate the difference between the highest salaries in the marketing and engineering departments. So let us start writing the steps first. So the first step would be, so step one would be to join the tables to get the department names. Then in the step 2, we need to filter out the marketing and engineering departments. In the step 3, we need to just a second. So in the step 3, we need to find out the maximum salaries of both the departments, and then so we will get the maximum as rows, but we can't operate the difference in the row wise. So we need to, so in the step 4, we need to pivot the table to facilitate the difference calculation, and in the final step we calculate the difference and output the result. Okay, so let us start one by one. So the first step is to join the tables to get the department names, right? So let's say, for example, we can say this is a joined DF, and we need to join the DB underscore employee dot join with DB underscore DEPT table, and we need to specify the column names. So the column names are department underscore ID equals to DB underscore DPT, and the column name is ID, and we need to specify the join type. So the join type has to be inner join. So we don't want any extra null values. We want to avoid them. So we are not going ahead with the left join. We are going ahead with inner join, and we need to select only the salary and the department. So that way we filter out any unnecessary data. So step 1 is done. In the second step, we need to filter out the marketing and engineering departments, right? So to filter out the marketing and engineering department, we are going to use is_in function. So to facilitate this is_in function, we first take an array of our desired values. So we have engineering and marketing. These are the columns that we are finding or filtering out. So let's call this as filtered df. So filtered df equals to joined underscore df dot filter. What are we filtering? We are filtering the joined underscore df dot department dot is in dep, and okay, so we have filtered out. So we have filtered out the engineering and marketing departments here. Next step is to find out the maximum salaries of both the departments. So let's call it max df. Okay, so this filter function will not work unless we fetch it. So from PySpark dot SQL dot functions import all. So we are importing necessary functions from PySpark.SQL.function, and on the filtered df, to find out the maximum salaries, of course we need to do a group by. So we will go ahead and do a group by on the department column. So department column group by is done, and now we need to find out the max. So max is an aggregation function, so we will use aggregation max on the column of salary, and we need to give it a name. So let's use alias. Let's call it max underscore sal, and that's about it. I think step 3 is done. Now we will move into the step 4. We need to pivot the table to facilitate the calculation of the difference between the two highest salaries. So right now we have the highest salaries in rows, but we want them as columns so that we can do a column operation. So let's call it pivot df. Pivot df equals to max underscore df dot. To do pivot, we also need to do a group by again. So group by dot pivot department dot aggregate. So what we are doing over here is we are taking the max salary column and mapping it as max. Okay, mapping it as max, and that's how we do the pivoting. So we are doing a pivot on the department, and we are converting the rows into columns. So now we will have engineering and marketing as our columns, and the values that are the maximum salaries of those departments come in the rows. Okay, and finally we need to calculate. So let's call it result df. Result df equals to pivot underscore df dot. So with column, we are creating a new column called salary difference. I think that is what is the expected output column name. Let's have a look into the expected output. Yes, salary difference is what we are finally required to have as the column name. So let's call it that, and we need to find out the absolute difference, right? We need to find out the absolute difference, right? Yes, just the absolute difference in salary. So if there would be no negative values that will be coming up, so we are using absolute function, and we have marketing as column minus marketing and engineering as another column, and from here we only select the salary difference because that's the only column that is expected in the output. So I think we are done. So we will just replace this db underscore employee with result underscore df, and we will run the code, and let's see. I think we have got the answer. So let's check the solution or submit. Okay, so we can see that it is solved and the solution is correct. So I hope you grasped the concept of this problem. There were few tricky areas. So we first needed to join the two tables to get the department names, and then we needed to filter out the departments, necessary departments, and then we did a group, we used a group by function to find out the maximum salaries of individual departments, and then we needed to do a calculation on the departments. So we had to do a pivot table, and then we finally got our result, and it is correctly solved. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, I would encourage you to like this video, share with your friends, and do subscribe to our channel. That will mean a lot to us. So I think, yeah, that's it for today's video. Take care, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.